Edmonton Green, a vibrant community pulsating with life, dreams and untapped potential. In the heart of North London, this diverse tapestry of cultures and stories weaves a vibrant narrative. Over the past 2 weeks, our team has been conducting extensive research on the living standards in the Enfield Borough. We have interviewed local residents and workers on their quality of life and their own personal experiences living and growing up in the area. From the young to the old, our research has highlighted some of the hardships they all face. However, they can all also recognise the vast improvements and changes that have been happening in recent years. The last few years have marked a period of cultural enrichment for Edmonton Green. The neighbourhood has evolved into a melting pot of cultures and traditions reflected in its diverse population. Community events, festivals and markets celebrated this diversity, showcasing a fusion of cuisines, arts and customs from around the world. But behind this vibrant facade lies a tapestry of challenges faced by its residents. High unemployment rates, limited opportunities and a lack of resources have cast a shadow over the aspirations of the young minds here in Edmonton.
Knife crime is at a near record high.
A 19-year-old man is in critical condition after he and 2 others were shot this morning in North London.
A block of flats, now a murder scene.
These mates might look like they're hanging out, but they've actually just helped murder a man.
Members of this gang in North London admit they've carried and used knives since the ages of 10.
What would you say if you saw your child on the floor? She was screaming.
So how many people might be living in conditions like this across London? 4 more in this tiny room. One of the tenants has armed himself with a baseball bat.
1 in 8 young people are unemployed and cannot get a job.
At the end of June, 345,000 of London's workers were still on furlough, more than anywhere else in the UK.
So today is about hearing from the communities and it's been organised by NCAF, which is a climate change group for Enfield. It's also been organised by Local Motion, and you'll see that the co-op support both those organisations through volunteers that come and help deliver the programmes. What the topics are things that are meant to come from the community, so they're their main concerns. So today we've looked at employment, unemployment, education, we've looked at health and well-being, what that means for the local communities. We've looked at green spaces and parks and how that will help with the communities. And we're going to look at, in particular, climate change. We've been very lucky in that one of the UK representative to the Climate Change Action Group in Dubai next week, COP28, is based in Enfield, and she's here today and she's going to talk and share her experiences. So all in all, it's things that really the community have told us that they would like to talk about, they'd like to share their experiences, and they'd like to come up with some suggestions about how we could change things, how we could change the systems. So some of these long-standing entrenched bodies such as the health service and local authorities. That's not just to pick on those two, but they're obviously the main funders in Enfield. And we want to be able to work with them and make sure that the community are involved in their decision-making processes and that they actually hear the voices of all of the residents of Enfield and the different communities, because it is a very diverse population.
I can't remember the last time I came to Enfield many years ago, so it was just really good to come. I think I said when I stood up, which was really interesting, was coming and learning about Enfield as a borough, but Edmonton as an area, and that issue about the divide between East and West. But yeah, there's a lot of needs and challenges, but you find lots of inspiration from the things people want to do in a community. There's community spirit is. This morning we were at the NYCC centre on the top of the shopping centre that Chris had kind of turned around and created with young people out of an empty shell, and kind of really create a space that people want to be in, want to engage with, want to put events on, want to come in and engage in activities. And it's always that point, which is what you're doing with this with the media organisation as well, which is giving people purpose and ambition and a chance to succeed and build something together, not doing things to them or not blaming them or boxing them in or whatever, just giving people kind of...
Now, what's the most important thing that you took out of your group?
So we were talking about housing, and actually it was similar. We were talking about some of the challenges in blocks with fly tipping or antisocial behaviour, and it was again about ownership. People want to look after... people want to look after their space. But they need the tools to do so, and they need to be trusted to do so, not just kind of blamed, or that they've got to email some distant council officer who gets back to them in 10 days' time. And then also break down some of the divides. So it was interesting talking about how some of the bin rooms, people who are homeless were sleeping in them. One approach is just lock the bin room door and lock them out, but other people were like, actually, we don't want antisocial behaviour, but we also want to help people. So it's how do you find ways to bring people together to solve common solutions?
I think for me, like the whole thing today is that the whole point of place-based funding is the idea that the best people to like make the decisions or have the knowledge of the people in the areas. So it's like totally. It sounds like really obvious, but it's still quite a new concept for funders like us. So you kind of give the money to the areas because the local people will kind of know what the issues are. And will be like the best place for the solution. So like in our talk on employment and education today. So it was just kind of mainly just really interesting just hearing about the situation. And I know you sort of said about resonating, but it's also about the accusation funders get, which I think is quite justified, is we come with like a preset of preconceptions. So like every area is really different, and something like local motion, where you think about how far apart the areas are. So even like Enfield and our offices in King's Cross, so in theory that's you're the closest one. But unless you kind of live here, how do you know like the context?
Hello, my name's Jean Brewer. I'm currently a trustee at the Ruth Winston Community Centre for older people just round the corner from here. And I think one of the things that really has come out for me from this afternoon is that what we need is an intergenerational group within Enfield, perhaps, where the main employment sectors are talking about how technology and other things, society is changing work, younger people about what they've been learning, and then develop some projects that actually initiate innovation in different work sectors, and therefore how that can impact on the way that younger people then get education, training and so on. Because I think there is a gap in communication at the moment, and I think we in industry sometimes are not really thinking ahead and communicating. So I think communication, thinking ahead as one organisation almost. And that's why I keep calling it a jigsaw, because we've got to put together the future as a jigsaw with the different pieces representing different sectors, different ages groups, able to fit together. And I think that would be something very exciting to come out of today's event.
Yo, what's happening? Come on, man. Really? Let me take that. Listen, you're a rookie in this thing. It's all right. Yo, what's happening, people? My name is Ellis Witter, and we are here outside 21K Digital Media. Today, we are at Edmonton Green, and we are going to be interviewing the people within Edmonton Green about their experiences of the change that's been happening over the past few years, how long they lived in the borough, and any other interesting, juicy conversations. I feel like he's doing something stupid behind me, so we're going to go and carry on with our interviews.
Let's go. So I'm speaking with
Lorna Graham. Lorna Graham.
Lorna Graham. So you've obviously taken part today in the community talk, talking about different obviously topics around the area. What sort of area are you coming from specifically?
Literally this area.
Oh, so you're...
I actually live in Edmonton. I work in Edmonton.
Down in Charles Street, so similar in a way. But in terms of your specific topic you were talking about, is there anything you would like to add on or say?
Well, we've pretty much said quite a lot of things today. You know, it's all intertwined. The thing I would keep saying is that talking is so important. Engage with young people, even if it's a cluster of people from this group, you know, that walk around together, talking to the community. So, hi, this is what we do, you know, hear their voice, literally on the ground. That's what you need to do, is hear the ground.
I mean, the last interview where you obviously explained that a lot of young people wouldn't come to like spaces like this. Like, you can't really imagine them coming to the community center and sitting in a group in a circle talking about it.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A lot of young people won't do it. Or even not even just young people, just people in general. They'll be like, well, what am I coming there for? Do you know what I mean? What's there for me? And you know, and that's the mentality a lot of people have got, like looking for what's in it for me, but they don't realise that you're not going there to get like a prize, like a box to take home with you. You're getting a lot much more. What you're getting from that is literally an improvement of your health, your well-being, how you feel. You know, that platform to express yourself is what you're getting. Because often people don't have that platform. They've lost it. Because back in the day, you know, you used to get like free newspapers that used to come through your door and used to tell you what was going on, right? So a lot of people were getting used to that. They want information to come to them. They're so lagging, do you know what I mean? That even though the social media is there, people, they have it on the phone, they still, because there's too much distractions on social media taking people to different things, that they don't stay focused.
Right, definitely right. In your sort of experience, did you say this community centre relates to you in some type of way?
Sorry?
Did you say this community talk relates to you in some type of way? Was there anything that just opened your mind in general?
Well, I would say it does relate to me because I've always been quite vocal in regards to expressing how I feel, what I think, and in regards to suggestions, putting suggestions forward, not just for myself, but for the community. Because nobody, I mean, we don't live on an island by ourselves. We're living in a community with different people from different walks of life. So therefore, expressing what happened today, you're hearing a collective and everyone's talking from the same, it's the same voice, but expressing things differently. Sorry?
Thank you very much for taking part in the interview.
No, you're more than welcome.
If I could ask for myself, is there any changes you think can happen in terms of, you know, these community talks, these meetings?
What from this? What changes can happen? I think that this is a starting point that we to move forward on and just keep on, not giving up. As the lady said earlier, you know, if we're all starting from a starting point, we're all starting to speak in one voice. So I think, yeah, more meetings. And I think the most effective way of engaging with the community outside is on the ground, walking around, people seeing you, and you talk to people, do you know what I mean? And let people know, look, this is what we're doing, yeah? Letting people know that they've got a voice.
What's your name?
Stephen Malindra.
Stephen?
Yeah.
How did you find today?
Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely in the sense that there are so many things that I didn't know could really come out in such a short meeting, which is less than 6 hours. You know, the kind of things that were discussed here, I wish they were practical. The problem is this is where, as you said, normally this is where it might remain. We discuss them, we do them, and then when there's no money, that's the end of it.
Money's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah,
So my next question to you is, how do we change that going forward? How do we make sure that this conversation doesn't just die in this room? Okay. It's change and be made.
The first thing they did today is that they brought in the funders. There were several funders because they were discussing what criteria they do when they are funding projects. So I had a chat with about 3 or 4 of them who sit behind and make decisions as far as money is concerned. So that is good. That is the first thing. Bring in the funders, let them see. Then you tell the funders that when we get the money, this is what we do. Because in most cases, the funders give you the money and they don't follow it up. And then sometimes there are projects which are funded, but they know very well there won't be a follow-up. And you will always need money. But fund projects that you know very well after some time, they will start funding themselves. Yeah. They start funding themselves. Or if they can't fund themselves, it's almost like employment. You train somebody, you make him find a job, and he gets a job and he gets employed. You won't be needing him anymore. You get? So that is the process has to come through there. What do we do about employment? What do we do about people needing help here and there? Let's fund them, but let's make sure that they remain funded even by themselves. That's the key thing.
My last question to you would be, again, looking towards the future. We're trying to make sure this conversation doesn't die in the room. What was something in particular that you learned in your group that you found quite interesting or concerning and whatnot, and how would you like to see change implemented?
Well, one of the things that we were discussing in the other group was housing. Housing was one major thing. People look for houses. There will always be people looking for houses. But you still have to tell the council, you still have to tell the housing people that there are so many people who need housing. What do we do about that? Can we increase? Can we take them to other boroughs? Can we do this? These are issues which are not always being discussed. But at least here, it says, you know the number of people who are in a borough who are missing houses. What do we do? Look at other boroughs. What do they do? If there is accommodation there, why not go there? If there is people sharing a 2-3 bedroom house, why not go into that? There are so many other alternatives can be found.
But just making sure it's on a good standard as well. It's not just like cram everyone in one place. Just making sure it's in a good standard, right?
But the first thing is you identify how many people are there. Secondly, how many people can we put into housing? And then you said, okay, if we are putting, say, 1 million people, or not 1 million, 2,000 people in housing each year, how can we put a stop to that? How can we build more houses? Can we do this? You need to answer those questions. And then that's what we are trying to do, to answer those questions. Some of them were answered, obviously, but it goes back again to where have the councils got the money? Has the councils got where they're going to put these people? Are they going in TEDs? Where are they going to go?
Speed the change.
Yeah, exactly.
Massive thank
you. Thank you very much.
Changes that I don't like, that I dislike. Obviously, there's a lot of, I wouldn't like to say racism, I'd like to say like unconscious bias happening within the community. So I've experienced, within my time, in the 90s, etc., people are much more receptive to us, our cultures, embracing cultures, Jamaican, Afro-Caribbean cultures.
So you're a local resident in Edmonton Green. How long have you been living here?
All my life.
All your life?
Edmonton, yes.
And being here all your life, how has that changed your quality of living, or has it changed your quality of living?
Well, this has changed 3 times since I've actually lived here, Edmonton Green.
Okay, so what sort of things have you seen that's changed over the time?
A lot more traffic.
So how do you feel your quality of life is now?
Well, I actually live by myself, so, I just have to get used to it. But it'd be nice if the neighbours sometimes come and ask you if you're okay, but they don't seem to do that.
Price will be down, I think the price is so high, so people cannot afford it. Once the customers arrive, they keep asking the price first.
And what do you think about the customers as well? Because obviously there's a variety of people within Edmonton. Have they been great customers, or have they been a bit troublesome?
Half-half.
Half-half.
Half-half because of the community,
And how do you deal with that?
We do great, so because we are professional, so we don't have any problems. But be honest, we have faced so many, difficult customers, but it's okay.
Hi, so I'm here with
Yes, my name is Javed, sir.
Jarvis, nice to meet you, Jarvis. So I want to know, obviously, how long you've been living in Edmonton as a resident.
More than 2 years. I live for before 10 years before I 2 years live here.
Okay, and being in Edmonton, how has your quality of life changed?
I just no any complain better. I no see anything. Just okay, fine.
Okay,
yeah,
so
fine. Yeah.
Is there things you would expect to see in Edmonton, things you would want?
I live here. One good quality. This one everything cheap from Edmonton for other places. Better here.
Okay, so you think it's easy to obviously buy things in Edmonton rather than somewhere else?
Better. Yes, better and cheap and good quality as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking time in this interview. Appreciate it. Thank you.
How long have you lived in the borough, Iris?
I've lived here for 34 years.
34 years. Yeah. Now, you must have seen a whole bunch of changes and whatnot.
Yeah,
what changes have you seen that are either good that you love or changes that are bad that you hate?
Well, I've seen a lot of changes where it's bad with, rubbish and, things. There's just dirty everywhere. There's just rubbish everywhere, and then, you get people that come onto the estate and throw the rubbish all over the place.
So would you say maybe that's an issue with the council as well?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Would you say that there's a clear line of communication with the council and whatnot in regards to these issues?
There is, yeah. But, sometimes, I've sort of reported a few things and nothing's been done. So, and I think there should be more for the younger kids, for the kids. There should. When I was younger, we'd have clubs and things like that. We had clubs in the evening or, where you played table tennis, things like that. I think there should be more, to keep the kids out of trouble.
Chef Kid, so how long have you been living in Edmonton?
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
And being here for 18 years, have you experienced anything? How's your quality?
Every year is getting more tougher. Is always also money side and the business side is getting tougher and tougher. Edmonton every year.
Okay.
And is people also scared to come out from Edmonton Shopping Centre because of his getting tougher and tougher.
A local resident in Edmonton, I'm guessing. And how long have you been living in Edmonton?
I moved here in 1980.
1980.
The summer of 1980.
Oh, that's nice. And how has this changed, obviously, your quality of life living here?
Well, there have been some issues on the street, but then it wasn't the street's fault. It was just random things that have happened. But we get ignored partly through complicated reasons in Edmonton.
At a Mayor World shop, African clothing line, and we're here to speak to the manager and the lady behind it. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
So I'm here with...
My name is Ameya.
Ameya, and you obviously run this shop, you run this place.
Yes.
How long have you been living in Edmonton?
Oh, since 2016.
2016, okay. And has there been any experiences or anything that's changed, being here?
In the Edmonton Green Shopping Mall?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Edmonton Green Shopping Mall has improved in terms of the decoration and the well-being security in the area. It's far better than when it was in the 2019, 2000.
Okay.
There's more security, there's more security, and the new faces are coming into shop in Edmonton as well.
That's nice. So is there anything sort of different that you're doing that's changing the way Edmonton...
Yes. Well, because I'm African woman, Nigerian woman, to be precise, I deal with African clothing, and I'm a fashion designer as well. I tailored.
Okay, thank you. So I'm here with
Prince
and George. Nice to meet you guys. How has the quality of life changed regarding you being here? Has it changed in any way for you?
I would say yes, it has. Obviously, like the cost of living, everything's gone up. So there's a lot more, from what I see, from a security point of view, a lot more like shoplifting going on in the shopping centre. There's a lot more violence, a lot more thefts. Basically things like that. It's just it's getting a bit more violent. The area's getting a bit more violent.
Okay.
The housing costs have been increased these days, and things are being expensive. Before, there wasn't much people here, but now there's a lot of people. It's took.
Okay.
chaos. Is there anything like positive you see around the area? Things that they've changed, they've adapted, that's worked well for you?
I think positive. There's a lot more high. I don't know. Probably high brand shops more in the shopping centre. So we've got like more like before. It just used to be like just like the Tesco's, Woolworths, all that. Now we've got like we've got the JDs. We've got like other like top brand shops. A lot of cafes. A lot of so yeah, people can sort of get together. You know, do their shopping as well, so they don't have to travel too much out. So for Edmonton, it's quite good. You got, like I said, you got like all different type of shops and brands, and yeah. So.
Would you say that's obviously the same thing for you, Prince, as well?
And the road too have been changed. It wasn't like before. In the library here, now it's changed. Before it was small, and now they made it big.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for taking part in this.
My name is Tangaraja.
Tangaraja.
Udayaraja.
Tangaraja. Nice to meet you. So how long have you obviously been living in the Enfield Borough?
In Borough in maybe 5-6 years.
5 to 6 years. And obviously living in the Enfield Borough, have you experienced any, you know, how's your quality of life living in the Enfield Borough?
It's okay.
It's okay. Is there anything like good or bad for you or anything?
So, yes, you know.
Do you have any specific thing you can talk about? Like anything that's upset you over the period or anything that's actually worked for you?
Yeah, I'm with work.
Oh, okay. You're right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this interview.
Edmonton in 3 words.
Yeah, even that's a good one, isn't it? 3 words.
I know you can do that.
Edmonton is a very nice place.
3 words. That's you're cheating. That's cheating.
It's very nice.
No, it doesn't. No,
It's a very nice place. Yeah, it's very good. Edmonton Green, the shopping mall, is nice place to come and do your shopping.
Yeah?
Anything bad about Edmonton? Anything we should know? Anything good? Anything bad?
If you're gonna put bad towards everything, we wouldn't be here. It's just all the best we can do and do it amongst others. That's all I can say.
Good.
All right, brother?
What's your name again, bro?
Omar, or you
Omar.
can just Brothers Fruit and
Lovely
Veg.
stuff. Thank you so much, Omar, yeah? Have a great day.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
3 words to describe Edmonton, I'd say seclusion, division, and a misunderstanding.
Dirty, yeah, dirty, definitely. Uninspiring. Just be good and, you know, make the effort in life. You know,
Follow your dreams?
Yeah, follow your dreams. Exactly, yeah. Network building, community building, it is building resilience and it is progression. So that's what it is.
George, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're fine as well.
I'm very good, thank you. So, how long have you lived in the area?
66 years.
66 years. And must I say, you look amazing. You look absolutely amazing. And to live in the borough for 66 years, you must have seen a hell of a lot of changes and whatnot. Can you describe some of the changes you've seen?
I have. The most important change I've seen is the regeneration of Edmonton Green. That is to say that where the tower blocks are, they were never existed.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
The green itself was a market stall that runs alongside this building here. Right? Very few shops that was inside. And if you wanted to do your shopping, you have to do your shopping during the rain because there was no shelter.
Oh, gosh. A lot of things have changed then.
Yeah, the train line has moved.
Yeah.
Some of the pubs have gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, for example, tower blocks. How have you found that integration within Edmonton Green as well?
The tower block was really a way of creating people together. Because I've lived in a tower block myself. So I know that once you lived in there, people become friends, you become a community within the tower block. And that's how it was.
Now, how has your experience been working with young people? Because I know you have a quality and a depth of experience working with young people, but how has it been, especially within the borough of Edmonton?
Well, I've worked with a lot of young people in Edmonton with the football team. This is going back from, say, 1968 to the 80s. And during that time, I must have gone through about 800, 900 young players.
Wow.
One of the things with that is they all come as a community. You got 1 or 2 of the older one that's been there, and the new one that comes in, the older one rubs off on the younger one. and therefore you have discipline within that.
And creating a positive legacy as
That's
well.
right.
So as I take it, it's been a great experience then?
Fantastic.
Fantastic experience and whatnot. So again, now within your years of living in the borough as well, seeing young people grow up and then obviously more young people coming and whatnot, how has that integration been as well? Because obviously that's a lot of new names, a lot of new faces and whatnot. Everyone goes off on their separate journeys. But again, within the borough of Edmonton, have you got any probably success stories that you can share?
Well, I think the most successful story I can think of is this, is that with about 600 to 800 youngsters that came into the club, right? I would say that they've all gone through life with discipline. In other words, none of them has done anything bad. They've started off young, and we instill discipline in them in terms of behavior. So when you see them in the street, you know they're behaving themselves. That was one of the major things that I was proud of, that they had that discipline in them.
And that's absolutely amazing, and kudos to you as well. So again, looking forward into the future, is there any changes that you would like to see? Is there any certain shops that you'd like to see integrated, or shops where you don't think there's a need for?
Well, times has changed. And I think the change isn't necessarily for the better, because one of the major problems is the youth centres all gone, right? The youth centre was a place where people can come in, talk, discuss things, and they learn from each other, especially the older ones and the mentors that was there. So they actually became disciplined, because one of the problems with that is it's elevate the fact that they live with their parents. Some parents are not disciplined enough with their child or to show them the way forward, where the youth centre will do that. And therefore they have this, secondly, upbringing that they don't have now.
So would you say that there's a lack of safe spaces for young people?
Yes, I would definitely say that.
So that's something you'd hope to see would be integrated and whatnot. So how do you think the relationship is with the council?
Well, I think that's very poor at the moment, to be honest with you.
So how can we improve that?
Well, I think the only way you can improve that is for the people in the council to come down to the grassroots and look and see what's actually happening down here. You know, there's no point in them sitting in their block of flats or whatever and making decisions. They have to come down. They have to be more active. They have to be on the floor themselves to see what is actually happening and see what they themselves can do to improve it.
George, this has been an amazing interview. Thank you very much for everything you've shared with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Margaret, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Firstly, just a massive thank you for coming down to us today, and we really just do appreciate it as well. So we wanted to ask a few questions about your experience within the borough. Firstly, how long have you lived in the borough for?
Thank you for having me. I've lived in the borough for 20 years.
20 years. Now, I imagine you must have gone through a lot of changes
Yes.
within the borough as well. Can you describe to me a few that stood out to you, either positive or negative?
What stood out for us when we moved in, my younger son was about maybe 6 years old, because we literally live off Nightingale Road, and where we live there was a park, and which meant all the kids, the doors were open back then.
Yeah.
And the doors were open next to neighbor, the kids are going in and out, and you know, so if I want to tidy up, they can go there. And it was brilliant, it's brilliant. And then I start seeing, as those kids begin to grow up, and that's going back, say, about 2014, 2015, there's a lot of changes starts to take place in our area. Obviously, the kids now, they're no longer kids. They become teenagers. They're outside in the park and all kinds of things. So that's where the changes starts to come in gradually. But in terms of here, I mean, Edmonton is completely different. Edmonton's shopping centre, I mean, you won't believe it, there used to be a market, you know, where Greg's is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was an indoor market, the whole of that
wow.
side. So where Greg is, Lloyd's Bank, And all that side, going all the way towards the post office, that was an indoor market where you can go everything that you wanted. There was an African shop there, everything. So that was one of the things. When they closed that, you're like, wow. You know, so those are some of the changes that I kind of seen.
And I can imagine that must have been a bit of a shock to you as well, because obviously I think for my age group and whatnot, we're used to seeing Greggs there now. Yeah. And obviously you're used to seeing the market going, what happened and whatnot. So again, there's been a lot of change, a lot of infrastructure, like, you know, the job centre has moved and whatnot. How have you found these changes? Have they positively benefited Edmonton and whatnot? How have you found it? For me, definitely. Let's just focus on Edmonton Shopping Centre. The change has been amazing, you know, and a lot more friendly, because a lot of people were out there, the adults were talking, were friendly. Everything you need, it's in there. Having the job centre there, that was absolutely great as well, because you've got the job centre just further up here, which is all about young people. So we're all talking about age 16, 17, 18, 19 out looking. So that's up here. And then the job centre literally opposite Asda, because Asda not too long been there. There was another shop there where Asda, the car park, all those was changed. And having the job centre there as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So those are some of the new changes. And also just in the middle of that, where you've got the place where the young people are playing and everything, that never used to be there. So that was a new thing as well. So for those of them, and it's a lovely kind of setting that you can go, you can sit down, you can have coffee, you can meet a lot of people there. So it was brilliant, yeah. That's amazing. Now, speaking of young people as well, because I myself identify as a young person, hopefully, but again, for young people growing up in the borough or within walking distance within the borough and whatnot, how have you found that these changes have impacted them? Because obviously a lot of talk are around young people. There's a lot of headlines about young people. So how, from your perspective, how have you found, is there any insight that you can give us about the young people growing up in Edmonton? Growing up here, for me, my son grew up around this area, and it was really, really difficult for him because there was nothing there for them. And I remember when the first riot took place in Tottenham and everything, and when they were making all the changes, like they were closing all the centres, there was loads of youth centres. And I'm a trainer. I'm into the training, young people, business startups and everything. And I remember saying to the government, you can't close the centres. Mm-hmm. Where is the young people are going to? But of course, nobody listened to us, and they've closed the young people. So young people like my son, they kind of got caught in the middle. There was nowhere for them to go. So they end up hanging out in the park, particularly where we used to live. It used to be a really lovely family park. But because the young people, they wasn't there late at night time, they're hanging there, and it got really out of hand, where there was a lot of fighting, a lot of stabbing around the area. So there was the whole of that part where we are, Nightingale Road. So you had the Edmonton lads here, say Edmonton Green, they would not cross over to Enfield. So we're a small borough, in a small thin line, and they can't cross from here to just to Enfield. And from Enfield, where I am, the boys cannot come to Edmonton. That's sad. So it was absolutely massive changes that took place. So yeah. And last but not least, what changes would you like to see in the future being done within the borough? Most definitely, they have to open more youth centres. One of the main arguments is, and most of us kind of went against it, they were saying if one of the reasons, which we know that living in Barra, that wasn't a good reason. One of the reasons they were closing the youth centre because of the post-Cold War. So they said because a young person could get caught inside the youth centre. So all that, so we said it's best to close it. And we're thinking, well, make it a lot more better. So for me, the changes I would definitely love to see here for young people is open the youth centre, make sure they feel safe being around. It stops them hanging around the bus station. Sometimes at night time when I'm walking past Edmonton Green here, you see the young people sitting on the bench at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening. And you're like, that shouldn't be happening. So for me, that's the changes that I like to see, and have a lot more stuff for the young people around the area, jobs created for them. And I mean, it's amazing seeing what I'm seeing here today, and we need a lot more of that. So for me, those are the changes I love to see. Margaret, thank you so much
Thank you.
Honestly, such a pleasure
Thank
and
you.
whatnot. And I'm glad that I'm able to return the interview.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Have a good rest of your day as well. Massive thank you again.
Thank you, appreciate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Hello, Mum.
Hello, Ellis.
Or how should I say hello, Anne? And whatnot. Now, we've lived in a borough for a while. Can you specify how long, roughly?
Well, it's in total 25 years. We did move out to Barnet for a few years and then we moved back.
And again, like, let's talk about moving out and coming back and whatnot. What have the changes been like as well? Because obviously we were gone for quite a few years.
Yeah. Obviously, there's been changes within the whole borough, and especially certain pockets. So like Edmonton Green especially, it's the marketplace has totally changed. You can see the welfare facilities, the library services, money's been pumped in, and I mean, it's just amazing how it looks now to how it used to look, and accessibility as well.
Yeah.
All the buses, the terminals and everything, people can access a bit more easily.
Now, would you say it's changed for the best, or would you say it's changed for the worst?
Yeah, it's changed for the best, because to be honest, I never used to frequent Edmonton Green, shopping city, because, as I said, accessibility was quite difficult. And also, I don't know, I suppose what I say back in the day, it had such negative connotations attached to it as well.
And now there's like shops everywhere and whatnot. How have you found the shops? Is this something you like as well? There's Greg's here as well. There's JD, they've just moved. The job centre has moved for some reason. Like, how have you found the integrations within the shops that have been installed?
Yeah, well, there's a variety of shops, and I think that they are, you know, aiming to provide a proper service to the community, which is multicultural. So, you know, you've got Asian shops, West Indian shops, all types of different, and the foods and everything. So, you know, you do see certain pockets of the community coming down to get their favourite foods, and, you know, and it's at a reasonable price as well.
Now, what would you say the quality of healthcare is like within the borough as well?
Well, you know, unfortunately, I've been very ill, and it's been a long journey, like 4 years. For example, accessing North Middlesex Hospital. As soon as you walk in, there's a massive reception. We never had that there before. Very helpful, easy to find the different departments, whereas before I remember just getting lost in the hospital. And obviously, many years ago, you were born at Chase Farm Hospital, and it's more accessible now as well. So yeah, there's been lots of changes with healthcare in the borough.
And especially within travel as well, because Edmonton Green is one of those bus stops where you can go to everywhere and whatnot. So yeah, again, how have you found traveling around as well? Because obviously there are many different bus routes and whatnot, but in terms of accessibility, in terms of is it easy, quote unquote, to get to as well? Because obviously there's cycle lanes and whatnot, traffic and whatnot. So can you talk to us about accessibility within travel?
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, it's great improvements. Edmonton Green, that pocket there, you know, you've got the rail line, you've got, which goes straight into London, Liverpool Street. You've got the buses, which go everywhere in London from Edmonton Green. I'm a driver, so I don't really use a lot of London transport, but I do have a bit of beef about the cycle lanes, as you know.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I don't know. Please tell us.
I don't think it's used hardly. I'll be quite honest with you. A lot of our the culture, the diverse culture that we have in the borough, they don't really cycle a lot. So, and also I just find it a bit weird that you step off the bus into a cycle lane. I've seen so many near misses, especially the elderly getting off the bus and the biker or whatever's zooming by. I don't get it. I love that they've improved the infrastructure, the pavement areas and things like that, and they've added bits of greenery. But yeah, that's my beef about the cycle lane.
Lovely. No, we all need improvements as well and whatnot. So again, looking forward into the future, what improvements do you think can be made as well in the future? Is there anything you'd like to see integrated within the borough or around it?
For me, like the safety aspects, I just think we need more lighting. I notice especially the evenings are getting darker quite early. I don't find the lights, the street lights are as sharp as they used to be. It's almost dimmed down. I don't think that's a good idea. Other than that, as I said, there's lots of positives more than negatives. It's totally changed. As I said, I like the infrastructure that's happening and the services have greatly improved.
I think, I can't remember who it was as well, but someone mentioned to me off camera as well, something about bins.
Oh, right, okay.
How do you think the bins are?
Well, I think there's a lot more bins. But as I said, in Edmonton Green, it's much cleaner. And, you know, the welfare facilities are excellent. And I think it's good because, you know, you've got mum and the children or whatever, or whoever's shopping, and, you know, they can access clean facilities.
Last question, just about inspiring young people. You say you've been here for 25 years. Going forward in the next 25 years, what a piece of advice would you like to give to young people?
Well, I've worked in education for many years, and you're quite young still. So I would just say, I think schools are very important. Make sure you do your research with what nurseries and what school facilities are, wherever you want to move to within the borough. And I just think, you know, networking with each other, with other parents, and, you know, you can do like what I used to do, after school clubs, pick up your child, you know, join those little services together and help each other, because it's hard.
That's what it's all about, though, helping each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you once again. How are you today? You okay?
I'm feeling fine. My name is Lorna Taylor.
Lorna.
Yes, Lorna.
Lovely.
But Jamaican style is say Lana. But anyway, to cut a long story short, my background of teaching, law, nursing, and children with behaviour and special educational needs.
All within the borough?
All, no, but from Islington to here, right?
Okay.
So the fact that the link was that when I came here, I was healing from a type of cancer. So I found something to sort of take up to, in between my treatment at Royal Free and other hospital UCH, I then went to Eldon School and helped the children there, I mean, and guide them as well.
How have you found the healthcare here as well?
The healthcare here?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay because, as I said, from a nursing background, I knew certain things, and also I used to help work in pathology lab in Whittington Hospital. So when you know about certain things to do with health, and you start to check up and read up for yourself, any move that is made, you try and make sure it's precisely for you, so it suits you. So in some ways, it's healthcare for me, and also I sometimes tip off others to help them as well, because here I am.
Now, speaking of healthcare, well, I must relate it back to Edmonton Green as well. How would you think the healthcare is here as well, regarding the people that surround the borough as well?
Well, the healthcare system needs to improve a bit within North Middlesex, you know, but it's a bit difficult. I mean, because of the increase of the population and then the lack of care of the elderly. So the fact that they're in the hospital because sometimes their families don't have time for them. So they're taking up beds and so forth. So the fact that people with urgent need, they need to be having that space, but they need to sort that out. The government need to sort that out, need funding to properly sort that out so that way people who are really sick are in the hospital.
And so you think this issue is solely on funding as well? Do you think we have the funds?
They have to get the funds to sort it out. They have to. The government got to sort this out. So certain things is not like, that's not really necessary, you know, to the top of the point. The top of the point should be the health. Health is wealth. And also it's like a fullness for everybody. If you're feeling healthy, you want to be doing things and also be able to help others.
Now, speaking of, again, within the borough as well, obviously you've seen a lot of changes living here as well. How have that been in terms of people integration, in terms of society as well? How have you found that?
Well, I found the changes help because I used to come here by the bus rides before it became a shopping centre, before they built Asda, before they built the hotel, travel lodge. There was a lot of things, sort of old-time houses, open shopping market, indoor market, and it's improved because also it gives jobs to young people and, again, job centres, and they need facilities for the young people, though.
Yeah.
Youth centre, and also it would help, I think, to invite people like myself of our generation to go into the schools. And they used to ask me, the children used to ask me certain things in the school, in Eldon School, right? So the fact that about life and so forth, what should be done is like us should be invited to secondary school because of the background of legal, working with legal people and knowing something that happens. You know, some young people don't realise when they follow their friends and then some of the attitude and the man them and all them things that you try to realise. I know I have youngsters in my life, nieces and nephews, so the fact that some of them should try and realise you don't have to follow that crew, especially in the badness and all that, and then leading into more trouble. And then sometimes I'm getting phone calls, how to go about this and that. I can't really tell certain things because the fact is that it's not my right, because I don't want things to be misinterpreted.
So you need more people who actually care, more people who can actually provide help and support for the young people
they need
as well.
People to help youngsters, to guide them more. And as I said, youth centres, inviting people like ourselves. But sometimes I even see young people and I ask them, what you're doing? And they'll tell me, right? And I said, what do you want to do in the end, you know, the working and so forth? Some of them don't know, right? So I tip them off because I have some phone numbers and some contacts.
Okay.
I'm still in link with somebody.
You're the plug.
Right?
Okay.
I'm going to get, it's not funny this, but it's a bit funny. I was coming from Pepper and Spice at Bruce Grove, and I trolley a load of shopping, and the wheel pop off. Yeah, well, the Jamaicans I said, pop off, leave, drop off. I said, the wheel pulling trolley, I said, whoops, oh no. And I saw two young boys on the road, the corner there. One of them ran up, oh, auntie, I'll help you. But the plastic had split. So I said, what are you two doing here? He said, we're doing nothing. I said, nothing? So I said, I don't want to know. So I said, just help me if you can. And he couldn't. So anyway, they helped me to the bus stop, right along Scotland Green, that bus stop to go home. Anyway, I said to one of the boys, if you're not quite sure, take this number. I managed to give him a link, a phone number. I said, try these people, they'll try and help you to go and do youth work and so forth. Anyway, he helped me on the bus, sat down, stayed down in about October. So this is about the June, the summer, and about October. So the shouting from the barber shop coming down to, when you pass the bridal shop in Edmonton Green, yeah, not Edmonton Green, on Tottenham coming down. Anyway, he's shouting from the barber shop, young man, Miss Lorna, Miss Lorna. He remembered my name, and he said to me, I managed to get on the course.
Lovely.
Jamaican style, hallelujah. I felt so glad for him. And yet he remembered me. And he said, I'm glad your wheel had popped off. Because the fact is that by the wheel being broken, he was able to, sometimes you want to talk, but you don't know who to talk to. And I was on a lead to tell him certain things. And he would come on a balance. He was able to say, wow. I give him the number and he tried the number. And he's doing his course and he's doing very well.
What a lovely story as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying we need more people like you who can actually help the young people and support them as well. And like I said, that will coming off literally gave him the will to go and do his thing as well. So that's amazing. Massive thank you.
Stopping disruption from the children, sometimes trying to do little fisticuffs in the green. As a senior, I said, no man, stop it. Because it's important. If we don't guide them, no shouting and roughing, no, you don't need to do that. You want to make your mother and father proud. You understand? I said, oh, sorry, auntie. And it's like, sometimes I give them a hug because something's going on. But by the way I talk and approach some of them, the youngsters from the school, it's like I feel like I love to say, encourage the next generation because I have recovered from a type of cancer that was very dangerous, invasive cell carcinoma. So to be here, to do anything fruitful to make the young people rise, I'm willing to do that. I am willing to do that.
That's so amazing. Thank you once again. How long have you lived in the borough for?
39 years.
39 years, wow. And you must have seen a lot of change.
Yeah, I have.
A lot of positives or mainly negatives, what would you say?
I'll say mainly negatives, and it's starting to turn into positives.
Nina, can you expand on that, please?
When I look at childhood, it's like I had a childhood. I was outside playing with friends and things like that. And as I got older, it's like not safer for the kids to be out in the streets as much as it was back then. So that's what I mean by some negative changes. But it's like childhood's been robbed of the younger generation at the moment.
Ooh, the childhood has been robbed from the younger generations.
Yeah.
That's a heavy bar. Can you explain that to us as well?
When you look at how we were, I'm a childcare consultant, and I've done my level 6 in childcare and education, and we look at the past and how children used to be, and it's like, even back in the 50s, children used to be allowed out all till the lights come on and all them kind of things, and no one worried about them. There weren't so much crime, there weren't so much as kidnapping and all them kind of things happening. But as we've come closer to the times, it's like kids aren't safe on the streets anymore. And you see that a lot more now, and it's like, it just feels like they're being robbed of their childhood. So
whose responsibility do you think is down to as well? Because obviously when you look at certain things as well, like let's say shops, for example, there's chicken shops opening nearby schools, and obviously they must be making a fortune, but is that really the safest thing for children to be as well? Because obviously then that puts them in a slightly more vulnerable place.
it does put them in a vulnerable place, because I feel that gangs used to use those as an excuse to approach the younger kids.
Well, there you go.
And especially when it's the vulnerable kids that can't get food at home because of the crisis they're in now. So I don't think that it's a good idea to actually have the chicken shops and that not near the actual schools. I think it's better to put the money into the households where the parents can actually do a healthy meal for them and keep their kids safe. So.
Well, there you go. And again, just speaking on the change within Edmonton as well, again, there's more young people out after school hours where they should ideally be at home as well. Is there anything else that you can care to share as well with us?
I've experienced some of that after school activities that they do. And I can say that we do, as parents, we do need to be out on the streets a bit more, and as a community look after each other's kids. It takes a village to raise a child. So I don't believe in turn your backs if a child's in trouble, things like that. I think if there was more adults, more community on the streets, then the kids would be a lot safer on the streets. So you won't really worry as much, but you can't really trust who's out there now.
So would you say it's less within safe spaces, but more within communities, or more within safe spaces and less within communities?
A bit of both, really.
A bit of both.
A bit of both. I'd say it's a bit of both.
But what does it take to have both?
Collaboration with us and the council, the community and the council pulling together and working together. But that can't work. Council doesn't like community having a bit of a control. It's just how the council works. So yeah, they don't realise they need us as much as we need them. So
is it more about the council just like making up rules and saying everyone must obey, and we're going, that doesn't really help us and whatnot?
It does feel like that. It does actually feel like that.
So how can we bridge that communication gap?
By getting the council to actually give us more leeway as to how we do things in the borough. Give the community that hand and say, well, it's your community, how would you want to see it run? And let us help them run it.
So now looking into the future, what change would you like to see? Was it mainly within a council? Was it mainly within shops? Was it mainly within school kids? What change would you like to see?
The council's demolished. I think that the community should take it over. So yeah, the council.
You've got to expand on that. You have to expand on that.
Well, the council's been running the borough for how long now? And nothing's actually benefited the community. And the way I feel is that if you had put it back in the hands of the community has to be responsible for themselves. There will be no one above us to say, well, has to be done, this has to be done. We all pull together. It's a diverse community. So it's pulling together and not just seeing this one. There's no equality in the council. And that's, I'm just going to say it out straight, there is no equality in the council. So I think it's better if it goes into the community and we just do it how we need to do it and get on how we need to get on.
I can imagine that. I love your answer, by the way, because obviously that's gonna stir a few pots.
Yeah, they don't like me.
But also, just in terms of just expanding, last question, just expanding on that as well, because obviously council members are getting paid quite a lot of money, I imagine. But within putting those resources back within the community's hands, how do you think, or how would you say, or how would you predict the community to best manage that money and the responsibility as well, because people have full-time incomes and jobs and whatnot. So how would we best band together to support our community?
Well, the best way is for the those at the top stop taking the extra pay rise and actually put it back into the community. If you see something's missing, put it back in. You keep saying we don't have no money, but you're getting a pay rise all the time. How does that work? So yeah, I'm very negative when it comes to the council, which I'm really sorry for. But I do see that like a lot of services for the children has gone, which should be still there to help them. And you've got things like childcare. A lot of childminders are closing down because they can't afford to do, because of some, or is it the government stepping in and saying, oh, they're going to give you a certain amount of hours, but then it doesn't balance to how we're going to survive doing these children if there's not enough childcare. So how are people going to go to work and look after their children? It's all hand in hand. It's just, you've got to work out if we can work together as a community and a council. I know I keep saying just community, but a community and a council to try and get the results.
But what about the cost of living crisis, as well as ideally, I think we still are recovering from the pandemic as well. How do you think those play a part within integrating that within the community?
That is a hard one. The cost of living, everyone is struggling hard. And I've seen people because I run a food bank, and I see people in my queues that have got jobs, like social workers, and still coming to the food bank. And a social worker, they're quite good pay. If they're struggling, what do you think people that's not getting that kind of pay doing? So I think the government needs to relook at what they're doing and restructure and as I said, put some money back into the community and support them. Because without community, they don't have a place to be anyway. So,
Candy, this is an amazing interview. Thank you so much for sharing what you shared with us. Massive appreciate it. We appreciate you a lot.
Okay, that's no problem. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this journey towards a brighter Edmonton Green. Let's build a community that we are all proud to call home. Together we can make a difference. And as the sun sets on our beloved borough, the restless youth can strive for better days and a brighter tomorrow.